What if you ate nothing but McDonald's for 30 days? Admit it right now, just hearing the words fried chicken, burgers, and Coke is making your brain involuntarily trigger your salivary glands. Every single day in the US, over 25 million people surrender to this primal instinct and pull into a McDonald's drive-thru. A Big Mac smothered in melting cheese, a fresh greasy batch of French fries, and a massive cup of Coke with bubbles popping against the ice. This isn't just the Happy Meal hardwired into American DNA, it's the absolute pinnacle of the modern food industry. For 200,000 years of human evolution, our ancestors spent their days hunting and foraging, just to find a tiny bit of sugar and fat. Our bodies are literally designed to gorge on and store high-calorie foods, whenever we find them, hoarding them for the next famine. But food giants have hijacked this ancient survival mechanism, condensing millions of years of evolution into a $5 paper bag. But what if we took this cheap hit of happiness and made it your body's sole source of fuel for an entire month? What if for 30 straight days you ate nothing but McDonald's? For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, without a single drop of pure water, drinking only Sprite and vanilla shakes when you got thirsty? What exactly would happen to your body? Forget about the meaningless numbers on your bathroom scale, that's just scratching the surface. Today we're zooming in 10,000, even a million times, piercing through your skin, and diving deep into your blood vessels, organs, and cells. Over these 30 days, on a microscopic level, your internal organs are going to wage an unimaginably brutal, straight-up horrifying biochemical war. Are you ready to watch your liver get slowly devoured by fat, see your blood vessels forced open and torn apart by extreme pressure, and witness billions of your gut microbes slaughtering each other just to survive? This is your body's microscopic countdown to death on a 30-day all-fast food diet. Day 1, the dopamine binge and the beginning of pancreatic collapse. When you open your mouth and take that first bite of a Big Mac and fries, it's not just a meal, it's a meticulously calculated chemical attack. High concentrations of refined sugars, highly processed carbs, and invisible sodium instantly detonate on your taste buds. This ultimate flavor experience is no accident, it's the bliss point. Engineered in a lab by food scientists who spent billions of dollars and ran countless trials to get it exactly right. Its sole purpose, to bypass your brain's fullness signals and keep you eating, bite after bite. On a microscopic level, your brain neurons are currently throwing a massive rager. Massive chemical electrical signals shoot through your brainstem like lightning, striking directly at your brain's reward center. Your brain instantly floods your system with massive amounts of dopamine. If you've ever seen an fMRI scan in neuroscience, you'd be shocked to discover that when you eat these high-sugar, high-fat fast foods, the areas of your brain that light up look terrifyingly similar to someone using hard drugs. You feel amazing and all your stress seems to vanish in an instant. But this is just the calm before the storm. A mere 20 minutes later, a level 1 emergency alarm is triggered inside your bloodstream. That supersized Coke you just washed your burger down with contains a staggering 80 grams of high-fructose corn syrup. Since this meal has practically zero natural dietary fiber, your stomach empties it incredibly fast. Without any barriers, this sugar crashes into your small intestine like a tsunami and is instantly absorbed into your blood. Under the microscope, your blood sugar levels chart a terrifying, almost completely vertical curve. Hordes of free-roaming sugar molecules are violently crashing through your bloodstream. Faced with this unprecedented crisis, the pancreas deep in your abdomen goes into total panic mode. Its beta cells start working insane overtime, dumping massive amounts of insulin, a protein-based transporter hormone, straight into your blood. A desperate attempt to shove this lethal sugar into your muscle and liver cells, just trying to restore peace in your bloodstream. This is just day 1. Your pancreas, stomach, and circulatory system are already redlining. For the next 29 days, they won't get a single second to rest. Day 3, shriveled blood vessels and tortured kidneys. We are now on day 3 of the experiment. Over these 3 days, you haven't eaten a single leaf of fresh vegetables. You've ingested over 12,000 milligrams of sodium. It's not just the salt sprinkled on the fries. The Big Mac patties, the ketchup, the mustard, and even the seemingly sweet hamburger buns are hiding an astronomical amount of invisible salt, pumped in for flavor and preservation. Let's aim the microscope right at the inner lining of your blood vessels, an incredibly fragile layer only 1 cell thick, known as endothelial cells. In a healthy state, they look like plump, juicy grapes. packed tightly together with an ultra-smooth surface that lets blood glide effortlessly throughout your body. But right now, high concentrations of sodium ions are acting like hundreds of millions of microscopic sponges swimming in your blood, violently sucking the moisture right out of your endothelial cells. On the microscopic screen, your endothelial cells are visibly shriveling and shrinking. What used to be a smooth vascular wall is now becoming bumpy, wrinkled, and dangerously stiff. But that's not even the worst part. This massive sodium overdose is subjecting your kidneys to brutal, inhumane torture. Your kidneys are your body's ultimate filtration plant, regulating urine through complex osmotic pressure mechanics. Right now, because the salt levels in your blood are so toxically high, your brain issues an emergency order. It forces your kidneys to stop producing urine and pulls all the water from surrounding tissue cells directly back into your blood vessels, just to dilute the lethal salt. The result, the total volume of fluid in your veins skyrockets. It's like trying to blast a high-pressure fire hydrant straight through a tiny brittle rubber hose. Your blood pressure is spiking out of control. To fight this immense pressure, your heart is forced to contract with twice its normal force. Every single heavy heartbeat is a tear-inducing stress test. On your already weakened blood vessel walls, you start to feel incredibly thirsty and your ankles and face become puffy, swollen due to fluid buildup between your cells. But to stick to the fast food only rule of this experiment, you decide to chug an ice-cold McDonald's vanilla shake. You didn't quench your thirst. Instead, you just dumped a whole bucket of thick syrup right onto a raging fire. Day 7, doomsday for your gut microbiome and immune system overdrive. We hit day 7, and the human gut isn't just a simple digestive pipe. It's a microscopic alien metropolis, way more bustling than New York City. About 39 trillion microbial bacteria live here, outnumbering your own human cells. Often called your second brain, they are responsible for deep digestion, synthesizing vitamins, regulating your immune system, and even controlling your mood hormones. The only food source for these beneficial bacteria, which have evolved for hundreds of thousands of years, is dietary fiber from whole foods. But for 7 straight days in this dietary hell, all you've sent them is meat residue deep fried in dead oil, highly processed white flour, completely stripped of nutrients, and industrial sugar substitutes. This is a microscopic massacre. And under the microscope, we can see that the premium probiotics protecting your intestinal walls are starving. They begin to wither and die in massive numbers, dissolving into fragments by your digestive fluids. Meanwhile, the harmful inflammation-triggering bacteria that thrive on sugar and processed fats have just entered their golden age. They start to breed like crazy and rampage through territories that once belonged to the good bacteria. But an even more terrifying disaster happens right after the mass die-off of the good bugs. On the surface of your intestinal cells, there is usually a thick, protective mucus layer. When your good bacteria get desperately hungry, they turn on you. They start eating this very mucus layer to survive. Microscopically, once the protective shield is eaten away, the tight junctions between your intestinal cells are violently ripped open by high fats and toxins. In clinical medicine, this is known as leaky gut syndrome. Undigested food particles, the corpses of dead bacteria, and lipopolysaccharide toxins, stuff that should have been pooped out, now punch right through your shredded intestinal wall and leak directly into your once clean bloodstream. As these toxins flood your blood, your immune system instantly triggers a highest level combat alarm. Massive armies of white blood cells are deployed, roaming wildly through your entire vascular system, attacking these foreign invaders everywhere. You thought you were just eating a normal McDonald's meal. But in reality, your body is waging a silent war, a full-scale chronic inflammatory war against itself. Your joints start aching for no reason, and you wake up every morning feeling insanely exhausted, totally drained even if you slept for 10 hours. And due to the complete imbalance of your gut flora, the color and smell of your poop have become absolutely unspeakable. Day 15, silent screams and the total collapse of liver defenses. We are halfway through the experiment. The vast majority of the excess calories you're taking in, especially the high-fructose corn syrup, pumped into your body every day via giant cups of Coke, are an enormous burden on your body. While almost every cell in your body can run on glucose, only your liver is equipped to process this industrial fructose Let's push our camera deep inside that massive dark red organ, in your upper right abdomen, right into your liver cells. A few days ago, your liver was still acting like a hyper-fast supercomputer, desperately trying to convert all that fructose into energy. But now, faced with a relentless daily bombardment of thousands of sugar calories, your liver's processing plant finally breaks down, and its metabolic pathways are completely paralyzed. In biochemistry, this triggers a catastrophic process called de novo lipogenesis. With no other choice, your liver has to take this unprocessed sugar, which it can't just let roam free in your blood, and convert it directly into fatty acids, storing it right inside itself. Under the microscope lens, tiny, greasy, yellow droplets of fat are continuously forming and expanding inside your liver cells. They grow larger and larger, violently shoving the healthy nucleus of the liver cell completely to the edge. Your healthy, dark red liver tissue is slowly being encased in a sickening shell of yellow fat. This so-called visceral fat doesn't just physically crush your organs, it also constantly leaks toxic inflammatory signals into your blood. Congratulations, in just 15 days, you have artificially and rapidly cultivated the early stages of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And to make things worse, because the cells all over your body have been bombarded by anti-aircraft fire levels of insulin for 2 whole weeks, they've gone completely numb to it. We can clearly see that the insulin receptors on the surface of your muscle and fat cells now look like keyholes that have been forcibly jammed shut. When the white sugar molecules, guided by insulin, try to enter the cell to become energy, they are mercilessly deflected. This is the deadly condition known as insulin resistance. Your cells refuse to accept the sugar, which spikes your blood sugar again, forcing your pancreas to pump out even more insulin in a vicious cycle. With nowhere to go, this sugar stays in your bloodstream, acting like microscopic shards of broken glass that continuously slash every inch of your blood vessels as they circulate. You are now just one step away from full-blown type 2 diabetes. Day 21, foam monsters and ticking time bombs in your veins. The industrial saturated fats from your double cheeseburgers and the trans fats from high-temperature deep frying have accumulated into a catastrophic disaster in your bloodstream. If you were to draw a tube of blood right now and let it sit, you'd see that your once clear serum now has a murky white layer of grease floating right on top of it. Massive amounts of low-density lipoprotein, also known as bad cholesterol, are prowling through your blood. They lock onto your endothelial cells, which are already ravaged by salt, high blood pressure, and micro-tears. Like leeches, this bad cholesterol slips through the cracks, deep into your blood vessel walls. Surrounded by systemic high inflammation, it rapidly oxidizes and rots. At this point, the microscopic war reaches its most brutal climax. Your loyal immune defenders, giant white blood cells called macrophages, they spot this oxidized cholesterol. Fulfilling their duty to protect your body, they charge in bravely, attempting to swallow and clear out this toxic garbage. But there is just way too much garbage here. The macrophages eat until they are engorged with so much cholesterol that they can't even move, bursting and dying from lipid toxicity. In death, they transform into a terrifying microscopic entity called foam cells. This morbid mix of dead macrophages and cholesterol piles up inside your vessel walls, forming thick, multi-layered, yellow, porridge-like fatty plaques. This is medically known as atherosclerosis. The lumen of your blood vessels is visibly narrowing, and the walls are becoming as stiff and brittle as old rusty pipes. With every single heartbeat, your heart struggles desperately, trying to force your sludgy blood through these severely clogged tunnels of death. Under the constant pounding of blood flow, if even one tiny piece of this yellow plaque ruptures, the platelets in your blood will instantly rush in to form a clot. If that clot blocks your heart, that's a heart attack. If it blocks your brain, that's a stroke. You are now walking around with ticking time bombs all over your body. Day 30, brain fog, hormonal chaos, and final judgment. This agonizing 30-day all-fast food experiment has finally reached its last day. Over these 30 days, you haven't eaten a single green leaf or ingested any meaningful natural antioxidants. Now let's leave your ravaged torso behind and look at your body's ultimate control center, the brain. Because of the severe systemic inflammatory response, your blood-brain barrier has become hopelessly fragile, which is usually incredibly strict and guards your brain against toxins. Pro-inflammatory cytokines, spawned by your leaky gut and visceral fat, have passed through this barrier like ghosts and directly invaded your brain tissue. Under an electron microscope, your neurons should normally look like a lush forest canopy, rapidly firing off flashing electrical signals. But now, smothered by inflammation, these neural signals have become agonizingly slow, weak, and chaotic. This perfectly explains why you're experiencing such severe brain fog. You find you can't even focus enough to reply to a simple email. Your memory is noticeably failing, and your mood is incredibly low, anxious, and bordering on depressive. At the same time, your endocrine system has gone entirely off the rails. Leptin, the hormone that tells your body you're full, is being blocked by all the intense inflammation. This means you're easily pounding back over 4,000 extreme calories a day. But your brain still thinks you're starving to death. You've become a cursed, bottomless pit. The more you eat, the more ravenous you feel, while every single one of your cells is desperately starving, in despair from a lack of real nutrients. They simply cannot effectively utilize this high-calorie industrial garbage. The 30-day McDonald's death experiment comes to a close right here. When you step on the scale, you might find that you only gained 15 or 20 pounds. You look in the mirror, and aside from a noticeably bigger gut, rough skin, and a bad acne breakout, you don't seem to have changed all that much. You might even breathe a sigh of relief and think, that wasn't so bad. But that doesn't matter at all. What matters is the microscopic abyss that the naked eye cannot see. In just 30 short days, under the lens of a microscope, your organs have endured cellular-level damage equivalent to aging 10 or 15 years. Your liver is riddled with irreversible fat. Your blood vessels have completely lost their elasticity. Your gut microbiome is a barren wasteland, like the aftermath of a nuclear blast, and your endocrine and immune systems have totally collapsed. You didn't actually die during these 30 days, and that's a victory for the incredible compensatory mechanisms of the human body. But your body, once a finely tuned biological machine, has been permanently transformed into a dangerously rusted clunker, with loose screws and no oil, ready to break down on the highway at any moment. Next time you feel hungry late at night, and you expertly steer your car into that neon-lit drive-thru, roll down your window and order a supersized Big Mac meal with an ice-cold Coke. You might want to pause for a second, look down at your chest, and ask yourself, right now, are those violently struggling macrophages deep inside your blood vessel walls and your absolutely ravaged liver, helplessly waiting for this hearty dinner to finally deliver their death sentence? The modern food industry will never tell you the terrifying truth of what happens on a microscopic level, because the truth threatens the billions in profit on their balance sheets, but we will. If you want to uncover more truths, hit that subscribe button right now. And don't forget to leave a comment below. When was the last time you ate fast food? Let's see whose blood vessels are in the most danger right now. Stay sharp, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one.